Sorry.
Raphael.
I mean, honestly.
We can do this.
Come on, Raphael. Keep it down.
We're back here with Fireman Three Houses. Our Verdant Wind Assassin. The camera is very wrong. Our Verdant Wind Assassin's only run. So exciting. For support theme today! Yeah! Probably it's going to stretch on into next episode as well, because we have a boatload of supports to do. The two notes I had was that were as follows. Number one, now that the Ire Astral Knights and the Bridget Hunters are both at max level, let us check, for Claude's sake, which of these he'd probably prefer. They both have the 20 dodge, which is what I'm really after, but then... okay, so we've got a choice between giving him 3 more damage. The defenses kind of don't matter because he's got so little health, or so little defenses and health already that he's, like, +2 defense isn't going to do anything. Like, he's still going to die in 1 or 2 hits. That's not going to change that. So I'm just going to ignore the defenses as part of the equation. So basically am I either going 3 physical attack or 10 crit? And that's an awesome question, me. What's your physical damage like? Your strength is 30, plus sword fare 35, 38, 42. So, the thing is that the crit doesn't matter if you're not doing any damage anyway, ditto for the lethality, so you might argue that there's more priority to making sure he deals damage, but 42 is high enough that basically only armored units are going to be ducking him, I would think, in terms of taking no damage from his attacks. Is there some sense to giving Petra... I don't know, I've had her on the Immortal Core for a while, and it's still 15 dodge. That's quite good. Comparing to the Ire Astral Knights. Oh, actually, all I'd be getting was the 5 dodge and 2 magic defense. That doesn't feel right. I'll keep with the 8 attack, and yeah, because she's not our main dodge tank anyway, so the 5 dodge... Sacrificing that for 1 physical attack, 2 defense, and 3 charisma, I'm cool with that. Not to mention one of the dopest gambits in the game. And then the only other thing I wanted to do before we get into the supports was fix Catherine's goals off of Sword, because she does not need that. Yay! You go, Happy. We'll get you to D before the end of the game. So it's support time, and I'm a little on the sleepy side, because the past few days have been a little unusual. You know what? The past year has been unusual. That's just going to be my excuse for why I'm always sleepy. So what I'm going to do is wake myself up with a little Petra and Dorothea. It's like a cup of coffee in the morning, warm and
Dorothea,
comforting and...
I want to be asking you a question.
all the things.
Oh, please do. Why have you come to Garreg Mach? Is your goal different from the rest?
Yes, I suppose. Everyone here is an heir or an heiress, but not me. I'm just a commoner. When I enrolled in the Officers' Academy, I was different than everyone else. I wanted to secure my future, and my big idea was to marry money. Ever since, I've been dating different, terribly well-to-do men, searching for a good one. So far, there's been no reason for a second date.
Marrying money? That is not sounding like a good idea. Money would be a bad husband.
Evidence agrees.
Pretty much.
But you treat me well. I have so much gratitude. Well, why do you show me such friendliness when I am not money?
Oh, no, Petra. This isn't like that. I like spending time with friends. It's wonderful being friends with you. And I hope we can stay close for a long
We're
time
using the
together.
F word sure a lot. I think Petra just implied that she wouldn't mind reading something more, my friend.
Yes, I have that hope too. But I have also been thinking of who is good for me.
Oh, I see.
And still I am thinking we should be friends.
Oh, I know why. Because we're both trouble for Imperial nobility.
Yeah, that's the chief thing you have in common.
Yes, we both have troubles.
Not being good people, not knowing what it's like to forsake what you want for a responsibility you have. We're both troublemakers.
Feels nice, doesn't it? Knowing that together we can irritate that many people. Since we've already got a lot in common, let's get to know each other better, shall we?
Very sweet indeed. Cannot wait for A support. I think we will manage to get the A support before the end of the game, just barely, you know. And I'm all the way here for that. Well, that's woken me up all right. Fun and good and fun. Ingrid and Raphael to A. Oh no.
Eating? In the dining hall. You?
Sacre bleu!
What do you mean? The dining hall's where I do most of my eating.
If
Not every
only
time
the
she's
old
seen ya.
version of you could hear you say that. It seems to me you've taken more care with your appearance of late too. For once, you aren't covered in gravy and oil from head to toe. I'm impressed.
That's a bit rude.
Of course not.
Jesus.
A proper night has to be neat and tidy.
All right, what have you done with Raphael?
It's all thanks to
Killed
you.
him!
You said I had to clean up if I wanted to
Killed
be a
him
knight.
dead.
So I started being more careful.
And ate the evidence.
Do you think I have what it takes now?
You've certainly become more knightly than before, but there's plenty yet to do to become a proper knight. It's not as simple as eating where you're meant to and not being covered in gravy.
Listen, Ingrid. Yes, it is. And don't lie to yourself.
Maybe I'd have a better chance if I just married you.
What does that have to do with anything?
Because you're already the ideal knight.
You're real cultured, that's all. You already taught me to be neat and tidy. I figured you could teach me a lot more about being a proper knight if I always had you around.
That would be quite the undertaking for me.
Yeah.
Listen, Raphael, that's sweet of you. However, as I've said before, I've no intention to marry. Let's cast aside this talk of marriage, and instead embolden one another to be the best knights we can be.
You're right. Probably a better idea to just embolden each other instead.
Probably less effort.
As long
Less
as I
effort.
still get your help with becoming a proper knight.
While you're working to be more proper, I'll be working to strengthen myself, that I might become a greater knight than you.
Huh. I don't know about that. I'm pretty tough. But I guess if anyone could beat me, it'd probably be you, Ingrid. Guaranteed.
Oh, and Edelgard.
Raphael.
Don't forget
That means
Edelgard.
a lot to me.
Very sweet indeed. I've never seen that one to its conclusion. I was not expecting him to just propose marriage out of the blue. It seems like a very un-Raphael-like move, but I do appreciate that the second she was like, that's sweet, but it's not really my thing. He was like, yeah, nah. Like, he wasn't that committed to the idea of going all in for that. Hilda and Ferdinand. Oh boy. Ferdinand about to get
It
duped
just
in a
never
major way.
ends. Oh, Ferdinand?
Hilda, do you need something?
The way the camera
I
bounces.
just have a tiny favor to ask.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize, but I must graciously decline.
Oh,
You didn't even let me say what it was.
he's busy.
I can proffer a guess. Instead of relying on others, why not try doing something on your own? Nobles should not be lazy or idle. We should accomplish our goals through earnest effort.
Easy for you to say. You're the very model of a diligent
And
noble.
the buttering.
Always contemplating the noblest course of action, never stopping to take a break. Your chore today was repairing the weapons, right? There are so many weapons here, and yet you're already done.
In the library?
That's pretty impressive.
It was not.
Oh, he's been buttered.
Anyone could have done the same.
He's been absolutely
I don't
drowned in
think
butter.
so. I certainly couldn't.
I do not believe that to be true.
Look at me. I'm supposed to be organizing these library supplies, but I have no idea where to start.
What could be difficult about such a task? You simply line them up and count them.
There are too many. Well, maybe it doesn't seem difficult to you, but that's just because you're so clever.
Granted, there might be some creative approaches to completing the task.
Oh? Please, enlighten me.
I can point you in the right direction.
He's still not all the way committed.
Divide them up by size.
Right. I'm with you so far. And then what?
Now, put similar items together. That makes it easier to get a handle on the numbers.
I see. Then what?
Now that you have arranged everything, you can begin counting. See how easy it is?
Wow! You did that in no time. You really saved my neck there. Thanks, Ferdinand.
Goodbye. She sprints
There was
away.
nothing. I suppose I ended up doing her work after all.
At least he's got a bit of self-awareness. I think I've said it before, but man, even though it's messed up, it's so funny to watch Hilda just bamboozlify random folks. I don't know what it is. It's just the way she always manages to, well, not always, but she frequently manages to get people to think she's actually just that inept. Count, I don't know what's count even. Who even knows what that means? You have to show me. It's so
Hello,
funny.
Professor. What brings you here? Fancy a bit of fishing?
I've had enough fishing for this entire game, but sure, I'll do a little more. No, I saw you here and...
Are you looking for help with something? Ah, no. Your eyes tell a different story. You know, I can hardly go fishing without thinking of old Gerald. He and I would just sit here, casting our lines again and again. I'm no better at it now than I was then. Not a single nibble.
Maybe if you were quieter?
Just like your father. You know all the tricks of the fisherman's trade.
The elite insider knowledge indeed. Don't shout at the water.
I was hopeless at it, but he was a master. In the time it
No,
took
I'm
me
not
to
quite like
catch
him.
one fish, he could fill his basket to the brim. You know, talking to you, I'm feeling very nostalgic.
I get that sense a lot of the times we
Why
talk.
don't you join me? We can trade some stories about the old man.
Yeah, sure, why not? And then he tried to shoot an apple off my head.
Gerald never seemed to age, right? Once, when he was drunk, he let the secret slip. He said he'd had an infusion of crest-bearing blood, and it had greatly extended his life.
Which crest? You're kidding, right?
Well, we'd both been drinking. I figured he was joking, so I just laughed it off. Then I asked him his age. He said he'd stopped counting after he hit 100.
Another
And he
joke?
was telling the truth. In those 20 years he was away, he didn't age a bit. An incredible person, to be sure. And I probably don't know the half of it.
I still don't. You know what? I feel like maybe it's because I've never gotten this support today, but I feel like there's more information about Geralt and his blood infusion that is in the game, obviously somewhere, and I've just not found it yet.
Actually, I'd like to ask you something about Geralt, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
When Geralt was away from the monastery, what was he like?
You like to fish?
In other words, he was exactly the same. When he was with the knights, he always found time to go fishing. He was hooked on it, you might say.
I would never say
He'd
that.
say there was no greater pleasure in life than sinking his teeth into a fish he'd caught and washing it down with a drink. I have to say, right now, fishing with you, it really takes me back. This feels just like the good old days, when Geralt was sitting alongside me.
Well, that's nice. Sorry about the bittersweet way that ended. Thanks, Eloise. You know how to lift a mood. Yeah, Eloise can be a bit much, but he's nice. I like him. He can stay. Linhart and Catherine to be. What is this about just demanding her sword?
Catherine,
Oh,
about
no.
Thunderbrand.
I said my position would not change. Go home.
Just
You're
go
not
back
getting
to
your
House
hands on
Severing.
Thunderbrand.
I was not asking to, so stop being so overprotective. I have a different request today.
The audacity, man. The sheer audacity.
Oh, so you're nagging about something else. Just so you know, constant badgering isn't a very attractive quality.
I would appreciate it if you would use Thunderbrand somewhere that I might observe it in action. Since you have denied me the simplest path to my enlightenment, I decided instead that I should closely observe the relic in use.
Linhart, the hero's relics aren't showpieces. I only use Thunderbrand when I need its power. I won't waggle it around for your entertainment. You know, even though it's
Just
compatible
the mental
with my
image of
quest,
that.
it still takes its toll on me. Every time I use it, it wears away at my soul. Not that you'd understand.
Of course I don't understand. I've never used it.
Watch your tone. Remember who you're talking to.
Why are you so unwilling to let me study Thunderbrand in any manner?
Because she doesn't want you to get hurt, you idiot!
I should be a true Crest scholar. Learning all there is to know about the hero's relics is my duty. I could learn a great deal by using a relic myself, even if that did mean endangering my life, yet you deny me the opportunity. Scholars who will not endanger their lives in pursuit of knowledge are worthless.
Scholars should be willing to lose their
That's a bit
lives.
much.
In a word, yes, which makes it all the more frustrating that you refuse my attempts at study. But I can't seem to convince you, so just forget all about it. Your bullheadedness wins the day, Catherine.
Where's all this anger coming from, man?
Ask someone else. If only I could use the sword of the Creator. Without a crest stone, it won't respond. I wonder how it is that the professor can use it. The only explanation that makes any sense is... Could it be?
He wants so badly to study crests, he'd risk his own life. That's impressive.
And worrisome.
I underestimated your tenacity, Linhart. But I have to protect you from yourself.
Someone's gotta. And it ain't gonna be me. You see how much stuff people have to spy on today? Like Leonie said it. I have to go watch them. I can't be making sure Leonard doesn't go and die.
Oh, full basket. Big catch?
Alois and Hoppy are just on the other side of the pier, just like, oh, hey, guys.
Indeed. Thanks to you, I now know all about the proper use of
All
guns.
about it, huh?
Even so, that's quite the haul.
I have developed a few tricks of my own as well. In my enthusiasm, I may have gotten a little greedy.
Oh, yeah?
Once I started to catch fish, I began to pay very close attention to the
Oh,
number
no.
I had caught. I hear it is not uncommon for one to become a little preoccupied with that sort of thing.
So in order to avoid that pitfall, I became incredibly preoccupied with it.
And when I recalled the prospect of having what I caught cooked for me, the challenge
Oh,
was too
no.
tempting to ignore. But alas, it seems I have gotten a little more preoccupied than is appropriate for my age.
Well, that's only natural. Seeing what you've already got just makes you curious how far you can take it.
It
Sometimes.
has made fishing an even richer experience for me. And for that, I must thank you.
Don't mention it. Actually, I should thank you too.
You're not gonna want it when you learn how many you're gonna have to cook.
Oh?
Yeah. Used to be, I only ever fished for food. Lately, though, I've been coming here just to relax. I do still eat the fish, of course, but I appreciate fishing in a whole new way now.
Seems we have both made worthwhile discoveries. So which is it today? Hunger or relaxation?
I'd only planned to take it easy, but seeing all you've caught has definitely made me hungry.
I had planned to bring all of them to you regardless. Take as many as you please.
Hey, thanks. In that case, why don't we eat together? You can leave all the cooking to me.
Their relationship, there's a friendship is so cool. I love that. Because that aside, they basically have like nothing in common, or so it feels anyway. Ferdinand and Marianne to C+. What was this one about last time? He told her to smile more and stuff. Be more confident.
Everyone seems to be in such good spirits.
Marianne.
Was that horse for yes?
Oh, Ferdinand. What do you mean?
She looks very upset.
I've been thinking about what you said.
I didn't mean to upset you. You should just ignore me and...
You misunderstand. It is not that you upset me. Honestly, you mystify me. You are a noble, and yet you do not wish to be one. Is that not so? I did not expect to hear that from the daughter of Margrave Edmund.
Yeah, skilled orator though he is.
But I'm not actually his daughter. He's a distant relative. We share very little of the same blood.
But still, you come from a noble lineage, do you not?
Oh, no. I'm just a minor noble from the countryside.
Minor though it may be, you were born into a noble family, which means you are a noble too. We did not choose to become nobles. We were born into the nobility.
I understand, but that's why I said I don't care to be responsible. I had no say in the matter.
Marianne,
My parents and I have suffered because of this bloodline and crest. Even so, I am prepared to do what I must, as the daughter of a noble family. But to be told that's still not enough, I just...
I see. I will not pretend to understand, but you should try to calm down a bit. Certainly, things did not turn out the way you had hoped, but the conditions are such that...
The conditions? Those will never change. There's nothing to do but give up. Please just leave. Ignore me.
There will be no convincing you. Very well. I will go.
Oh, Goddess. Why did you curse me with such suffering?
Ouch, that didn't go great. It started out alright. At least they got a little bit more to the heart of that matter, but ouch, that kind of stung that. They do have very different takes on responsibility, though. Ferdinand takes responsibility in a very positive light, even though he understands that not having the choice is frustrating. He's like, well, I better make the best out of it and be the best noble I can be, whereas Marianne is like, understandably, to be clear, very down about the whole thing. And this is another one where it sort of is weird to have her do that conversation after she's already had like her A-sport with Claude, for instance, where they kind of eased that a bit and he was able to say, you know, there's no need to cling on to burdens that have been sort of foisted upon you. Anyway, Claude and Shamir to A.
Do you remember this place? This is where your dagger almost took my nose.
I remember. I wonder whether talk about the places they belong is going to head now.
Ah, yes, the poisonous spider.
You really scared me senseless back then. I thought I was about to die.
I would not take a life without reason.
Ever
Comforting.
Since then, I've been intrigued by you. Somehow, I keep returning to this spot.
For a nap, I'm sure.
You see right through me, don't you? But it's true that I think about you a lot. What are you gonna do once the war is over? Have you decided on your next place to belong?
I haven't given it much thought.
Will you go back to
So-
Dagda?
Sounds like
There
you
was
have.
no one waiting for me there, and no reason to hurry back. Besides, I've grown accustomed to the nomadic lifestyle. I can make do wherever I find myself.
As a bandit in
Though,
some endings.
I may be interested in visiting Elmira.
Elmira? That's a bit out of nowhere.
It's as far from my homeland as possible. That's reason enough for me. And you? Where will you go?
Oh, I haven't decided anything just yet. But if you're heading to
Doubt.
Elmira, maybe I should pay a visit to Dagda.
Why would you do that?
Because it's where you grew up. That certainly warrants a look.
It kind of does, to be
And
fair.
once we've both seen our fill, how about we plan to meet back up somewhere in Fodlan?
And do what?
We can tell each other where we're headed next. Who knows, we might find ourselves belonging in the same place again. Though if we do, I hope it'll turn out to be more permanent than this temporary coincidence.
We can decide where we belong when we get there.
True. The future's more fun when you don't know what it holds. I look forward to finding out, Shamir.
Yay, verily! I wholeheartedly agree. And it's cool that that's kind of a follow-up to what he was saying, what they were saying before about, like, you lay down roots and who knows how long they actually will stay. Or if you'll tire of that, like they were saying earlier. Mercedes and Lawrence to max support.
Mercedes, I have heard that you are the daughter of Imperial nobility. Is that the case?
Was.
And you have a crest as well. Is that not so?
Again, it is.
Why did you not tell me? I was under the impression you were a commoner.
I didn't mean to hide it from you, but you never asked. Besides, I am considered common now. I don't care to flaunt my noble past or my crest. I have no desire to return to that status.
Then, if I may speak hypothetically a moment, does that mean that if a nobleman were to offer you his hand in marriage...
If I may speak hypothetically for a moment.
Not at all. That's a separate matter entirely. Even if I were to fall in love, regardless of their social status, I'm not looking to marry right now.
What a relief. Forgive my rudeness. I am merely envious of your flexible outlook.
Smooth, sublime save, my guy.
A posture that I might very well adopt.
Doubt.
Not to say that I hang upon your every word, of course.
Uh-huh.
You mean in terms of love and marriage?
Precisely. Status should be no impediment to love.
But if you marry a woman who isn't a noble, then haven't you neglected your duty?
Not exactly, no. What I said was that my marriage must benefit House Gloucester.
Mm-hmm.
So long as that holds true, the bloodline of my partner is actually irrelevant.
As in if the individual in question is worthy of that status.
For instance, if she bore a crest...
Oh,
was
never mind.
at one time considered noble.
Well, now that doesn't sound flexible.
It doesn't, no. That's not what I thought you were saying.
If someone will benefit your family.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you investigate her before allowing yourself feelings? That doesn't sound very noble of you.
That is not what I...
I'm sorry, Lawrence. I was only teasing. I'm sure your lack of tact is what women find so irresistible.
Come again?
Oh, nothing at all. I hope you do your family proud and fulfill your duty.
Yes, I most certainly will.
Oh man, I love you so much, Mercedes. Mercedes has so many good one-liners with Lawrence. I find myself growing irritated just looking at you, and I'm sure it's your lack of tact women find so irresistible. Oh, it's just so biting and so funny. Hanneman Lysalia to A. Where the heck is this gonna end up?
Did you want something, Professor Hanneman?
Ah, Lysithea. Thank you for coming. First, I ask that you allow me to apologize.
This is a good place to start.
I fear I hurt you with my insensitive words. I have failed you, not as a researcher, but as a human being.
I'm the one who should apologize. I'm sorry for being rude to you.
Also probably worthwhile doing, but maybe slightly less pressing.
Anyway, I'll keep going along with your research. I have to be on my way now.
Please, Lysithea, a moment more. I did not call you here simply to apologize. I told you once that you were an exquisite subject for my crest research.
I used those words exactly, which was perhaps unwise.
Why? Because there are no records of any other person ever having borne 2 crests.
Correct.
We cannot say anything for certain about the makeup of your body. Therefore, it seems hasty to conclude that overcoming your shortened lifespan is an impossible feat.
What is it you're implying?
Lysithea, what is my field of study?
Crestology?
Crestology, of course.
Indeed. And the goal of my field is to unravel every single mystery crests might conceal. Someday, I even hope to devise a means to bestow a crest upon any who desires one.
And you're saying the flip side will also be true, perhaps removing one. Someone who does not.
Why would you want to do such a thing?
Because I despise this world in which the presence or absence of a crest can determine a person's worth.
Huh.
However, if artificially implanting a crest causes too great a toll on the subject, it would be useless. As such, reducing the strain of crests on the human body is one of my research goals. Understanding how to implant a crest might also lead to the knowledge of how to remove them. Yes?
Do you think
in a bit
removing a crest could mean that they won't suffer from its effects any longer?
Bears investigating anyway.
What I am trying to tell you is, The question of whether your lifespan can be restored is entirely within the scope of my research.
Could you really do that?
Doesn't know yet.
It is difficult to say for sure. But as long as the possibility exists, I will continue to seek it. Lysithea, let me ask you once more. Will you assist me in my research?
Professor Hanneman, I think I'm the one who should be asking for your help, really. Anyway, I'm sick of a crest determining a person's worth, too.
Ah, is that right? Perhaps you would even like to begin studying crestology yourself. I think you would make a fantastic apprentice. A life devoted to research is a noble life, you know.
Not in the way Lawrence means it.
If you do manage to restore my lifespan, I'd certainly think about it.
I will hold you to those words. I see a fine future ahead of us.
I'll hold you to thinking about it. Apprentice secured! And while we're on it, actually, let's do Hanneman and Marianne to A. I'm glad they both apologized there, even though I think probably Hanneman... Lysithea was the one more deserving of an apology. It was nice of her to also apologize to him for calling him old and everything. We had this one recently in a French support, so it's fresh in my mind-ish.
I should head back.
Finished with your training, Miss Marianne?
Oh, Professor Hanneman... Yes, I've just finished training for the day.
You have merely completed the exercises assigned to you, yes? Nothing more? Or am I wrong?
Yes. I'm sorry. I should have done more.
No, please. You've done as you were asked. Quite solid work, child.
She's like 23.
I simply wish to ask a question. You possess a crest, do you not? When you entered the Officers' Academy, your father submitted a request to the monastery, as well as a significant donation. Your father asked that your crest not be confirmed under any circumstances. At first, I thought he did not want the world to know that his daughter bore no crest. In your father's position as a newly minted noble, it would be most advantageous for his daughter to possess a crest, you see. However, I am now certain I was wrong. I believe you do, in fact, possess a crest of some sort.
How did you find out?
I have been called the Father of Crestology, which is a bit of an ostentatious title, I admit. However, a brief period of observation allows me to hazard a usually accurate guess as to whether a body houses a crest or not. With the knowledge of your father's actions and my own observations, I come to you with a warning. As a crest bearer, you are guaranteed to have certain talents. It is prudent to study your crest diligently to ensure your safe mastery of these talents, whatever they may prove to be.
No, I have no talents.
Oh yes, you do. No matter
I've
how
seen you do
hard
front
may
flips
try
and
to hide it, my sight
soul blade people into next Sunday.
And what I see, others will eventually notice as well. Those who hold power must wield it in the service of their fellow man, Miss Marianne. I believe that is true, whether you are peasant or noble. And doubly true, I would say, for those with crests. Or do you think I'm wrong? On principle alone, it is a waste to allow a rare talent to remain dormant. I would like very much to advise you to aid your understanding of your crest. Will you accept my offer?
No, I refuse.
That is regrettable. A veritable tragedy, Miss Mercie.
Well, oops. Yet another one that's very unusual if you go from Lysithea's A support to this C support, which is kind of what I wanted to see, how it would be, because Hanneman is acting uncharacteristically insensitive to her, considering the discussion he just had with Lysithea, essentially, is what I'm getting at. Nevertheless, a healthy and good batch of supports there, and we'll be carrying on with the rest of these next episode, after which we'll be headed to Shambhala. Oh, so exciting. Next video on the channel is going to be an unusual one. I got a blast from the past into my brain. Remembered an old fan game that I used to play a lot and had a hankering. So I played it for a bit. It was bizarre, but very fun. After which will be more support theater right over here. So thank you so very much for coming around to part 101. Holy crap. Of Fireman 3 Houses, our Verdant Assassins Only Run. Hopefully I will see you around. Admiral's gonna be out of here now. Peace! I don't know why I would lose health for this. I brought it up. Take that! And this is... I found it at the scene of the crime. Maya did. It appears to be a copy. Oh, I guess I can't say that. It appears to be a copy of the order that Mr. Rebel dropped. If we put the two together, we should be able to read what the order says.